Hey everyone, welcome to my video on using the digital play kit from Ali Edwards. I'm going to show you a little bit about my process putting together a 6x12 layout of a really playful story of me and my partner in Chicago on scooters. And I'm primarily using the digital kit Play, but I want to show you a little bit about how I edit some of the materials like in Photoshop and show you kind of how I use digital elements to kind of fit the layout that I'm making. So this was a very colorful kit, which I really like, but I wanted to really play up mainly the oranges and blacks in some of my photos. So I ended up changing some colors and modifying some of the elements, and I'll show you a little bit about that. So I really liked this card that says, hey, don't forget to make time to play, which I think is something we don't always do as adults, but something I try to prioritize, especially with my partner. In the digital kit, it was kind of like a reddish color that had some yellows and oranges. So I ended up changing the background to gray, and I changed play to the orange so I could kind of match my photo here. So that was one card that I modified. This was the other one that said game time at the top, and I just ended up putting a white box in Photoshop over game, and I'm gonna put another title at the top here, and then I told just a really short story about how fun it was to rent these scooters and go all around downtown and how much fun that was. I also wanted to, just for some added dimension and play, if you will, I wanted to create a background that I will probably end up putting my photo on top of. I'm not sure yet, you can't really tell, which is okay. It kind of creates this fun pattern, but when you get the digital kit, you get the hearts, but you also get the full sheet. And so what I did is I pulled up a blank file in Photoshop 6x8, and I just used 4 of the sheets of hearts and just kind of made this pattern. And I like that the gray will match the other side with the gray card. And then I ended up cutting out some individual hearts in case I want to use those. I also printed off a few of the chipboard pieces, so punched those out in case I want to use those on some of the photos. I also really like to play with vellum, so using some of the stamps, I just printed off a few. I'm not sure how I'll use them, but you know, if I'm gonna print off a bunch of things, I'll just put them all on the piece of paper and print it off and then see what I end up using. So this was the just playing around stamp that I just kind of layered and created like a little bit of a pattern. This one says a playful story, so I'm not sure if I'll end up maybe using these on top of the photos in some sort of way, but I will kind of experiment with that. And then really exciting news, I got a silhouette for my birthday. I'm really excited. So I ended up cutting out the play word, which I'll likely put on my photo here in some sort of way. And then I wanted to cut out let's, so I could do let's play. So this actually was the transparency. So in Photoshop, I actually cut out the word play, cut out let's individually, so I could just have this and printed this off with my silhouette, and I'll probably do something like that. So that's just kind of my first initial plan, but we will see how it actually comes together.
Okay, getting started here. I'm going to start on the left-hand side with my enlarged 6x8 photo. I'm going to put the patterned heart paper that I made using the digital kit behind this photo. And I end up trimming the photo a little bit smaller than 6x8 so you can kind of make out the heart pattern behind the photo. It's not super obvious that it's a heart pattern, but it doesn't really matter. It's just nice visually to have a little bit of a pattern there. And then I cut the word play out with my silhouette, which was a new gift, a new toy that I got for my birthday. So this was the first thing that I cut out. So I'm really excited to play with this. And because the word is so big, which I really like it enlarged, I didn't want the letters to cover our faces in the photo. So I cut off a little bit of the Y and a little bit of the P, so it kind of frames our faces. I spent a lot of time trying to get it perfect, and it's not if you look close enough, but that's okay. I'm totally fine with it. It's just a good reminder that it doesn't have to be perfect. So I got it as close as I could and then ended up adhering that down. As you heard me say in the beginning of this video, I also cut out the word let's. So my title on the left-hand side could read let's play. And this was actually the transparency, and it said let's play in the original file, but I just removed the word play so it could just be let's. And I like that it's two different fonts. I think that that looks really cool. And so here I'm trying to figure out how to make that word pop a little bit more. So I pulled out some of my label stickers, which you can get in Allie's shop. I picked these up when she had her flash sale because I end up using these all the time. Now, I adhered that down, but you'll notice that I come back to that in a little bit. So it's just not my favorite. Here I am pulling out, some other things that I could possibly use. Of course, I couldn't pull the sticker all the way off, but it just didn't look quite right. So I try a couple of different things here, but I'm not sure what I want to do. So I end up coming back to it. So moving over to the right-hand side, this is a page protector that has four 3x4 pockets. So I have some individual pictures of me and my partner. And I'm using the vellum here, which you saw me talk about using the digital stamp that says just playing around. And I like ripped edges. And so I kind of tore that so you could still see all of him in the picture. And then I'm going to use one of those hearts there too. And then I also punched out one of the chipboard circles that says so darn fun. I like that that font matches the let's in the other side. It just adds a lot of cohesiveness, I think. So I ended up putting a label sticker, behind that. So it made it pop a little bit more and it had a black outline. Working on my other card here, I removed game from the top of this card and I'm gonna put scooter at the top. And you saw that I had attempted to use some black letters, but I think I didn't have a T, so I had to grab some other ones. So I had this orange alpha sticker, maybe from a past Studio Calico kit. I end up having a lot of orange stickers left over because it's not a color that I use very often, so it actually worked really well to have this sticker sheet. And I ended up using a label, which again, I like that it's kind of cohesive with the other label sticker that I used. So I put scooter at the top there, kind of trimmed off the top. Later, you don't see this in the video, but I do add some stitching at the top of that and on the other side as well, just to give it a little bit more dimension. And of course I put the date at the bottom here. We went up to Chicago in July, so that's when we kind of had our scooter adventure. So I wanted to make sure I put the date there. All right, going back to this whole label fiasco here, I end up just using a banner that was a die cut that came in a kit, but I try about a billion different things, but I end up using this banner. I cut it so it's a little bit shorter. I like that it's black and white because I'm really going with a black, white, and orange color scheme here. And I do stitch that on as well, so I like that there's stitching on both sides. Okay, so the last thing that I do here is I just thought the layout needed a few more embellishments or something to kind of tie it together. So I pull out my bin that has like different stars and stickers. I didn't want to use stars because I mainly used hearts in this layout. They're kind of the two shapes that I go back to in pretty much all of my layouts. So I ended up finding some puffy heart stickers. I found them in black actually, which I was really excited about. I think these came from maybe an old Studio Calico release. But I end up putting 3 of those puffy stickers down, and I put them kind of in a triangle, sort of visual triangle, just because I like the way that that looks. And I know Allie talks a lot about that in her videos, and it really does kind of pull the spread together. So I put one of the big hearts next to Scooter because it wasn't exactly centered, and that kind of bothered me. But again, I'm kind of embracing the imperfection. And so I put one there. I put one next to Let's Play on the left-hand side, and then I put one down in the corner on the photo of me and the Scooter sitting next to So Darn Fun. I thought about using some of the gray hearts, and if they were a little bit smaller, I probably would have used those. I did adhere the one on the photo of Mark, and use my tiny attacher on those again, just adding some extra things to the layout. But here I end up adding the stickers, and I thought that was a good finishing touch. And this is just a reminder that you can tell, a really playful story in a quick layout that doesn't take a lot of time, where you can really use the digital kit to make it work for you and what you're creating. Thanks for watching.